association with Tiger Beer. Discover the tiger.
Now here it is, Jeff Wayne's musical version of War of the Worlds. Sky has rated the following film as PG. Parental guidance is advised.
Sky Movies Indie, in association with Tiger Beer. Discover the tiger.
Enjoy the intense detail of Sky Movies in high definition. Only when you bring your HD-ready TV together with Sky HD. With Sky Plus as standard. Sky. Believe in better.
The Carling Cup semi-finals first leg, sponsored by Sky Bet.
Chelsea are there!
First, Chelsea face Everton next Tuesday, 7:30, followed by a repeat of last year's semi-final.
Eduardo, cool as you like. Spurs on the way to the semi-final.
Arsenal face Spurs. To join in, press the red button now. Call 08705 166 661 or go to Sky Active.
It's all right, Andy. It's just what it needs. Hot Fuzz, every night till Friday on Sky Premier.
We all make New Year's resolutions, from losing weight to stopping smoking. But Boots know that most of us fail because we take on too much at once. That's why they've created their Change One Thing program to help you set realistic goals and achieve them. Come in store now for your free Change One Thing action plan and get started. Trust Boots.
According to this statement, I've just bought a pneumatic drill.
Perfectly plausible.
Tickets for Knockdown Mania. And ruined my credit file with a loan on a monster truck.
Whatever your identity theft problem, as a Capital One customer, your own personal advisor will help you resolve your case. Join now and get low rates and 0% on balance transfers and purchases fixed until November the 1st, 2008. Visit capitalone.co.uk.
I'm calling Capital One.
What's in your wallet?
From critically acclaimed director Mike Nichols comes Charlie Wilson's War.
Okay.
With 5 Golden Globe nominations.
How about that?
Including Best Picture.
You have authority to do this? None whatsoever.
Best Actor Tom Hanks.
Can we get you a drink? 10 o'clock in the morning. Fair enough, I guess.
Best Supporting Actress Julia Roberts.
You could ask for a martini. Actually, I'm the congressman's assistant. Isn't that wonderful? 2 olives, please.
And Best Supporting Actor Philip Seymour Hoffman.
And no reason this can't be fun.
Charlie Wilson's War.
I go to the dentist probably every 6 months. I've had sensitive teeth for as long as I can remember. If I bit into an ice lolly, I kind of had to do it in stages. I probably look like a hamster or something nibbling away. It's a bit embarrassing because you don't want people to think that you're a bit weird. I'd heard of Sensodyne before, but I thought that it was perhaps for older people. It's important to have it in the house all the time because I know what it's like when I don't use Sensodyne. It's up there with the lip gloss and the mascara.
Don't know when I felt this free. When did we last do this?
Crikey. I remember his first steps.
He's always wanted to do that.
To think, they used to hate bath time.
Last time I was this covered in mud, I got told off.
She always did make friends easily. Listen, when was the last time you heard that?
I don't hear anything.
Exactly.
To book or for your free DVD and brochure, call
The IKEA winter sale is now on. Don't miss out.
Sky Movies Family, brought to you by the Munch Bunch.
What does Sky Movies Family sound like this January? Meow. We're talking your language this January, with all these great movies showing throughout the month. January on Sky Movies Family. Sounds good.
His many names are known throughout the world, but what isn't known is the name of his brother.
Frederick, don't you look nice?
Nicholas.
Made the outfit myself, Mother. I wouldn't go telling people that.
Really, Frederick? Why can't you be more like your brother?
This year, Santa is having Christmas at home. But one family member just doesn't share that Yuletide spirit.
Mr. Claus, welcome to the North Pole.
Allergies.
Gun!
But I like the concept of Fred Claus, and really what really was the greatest thing for me was sort of the take on the movie where kids were concerned with the naughty nice list.
If the kid strikes you as naughty, bam! Stamp him naughty, all right? But if the kid strikes you as nice, bam! Yep, you stamp him nice.
I thought it was a strange idea to want me to play Santa Claus.
Oh, ho, ho.
I had a fat suit and a beard and everything, and so my hands had to be proportional or they would have looked weirdly tiny. But they're good. They look good. They're amazing looking, but but after a while you get sort of fascinated by them, don't you?
I want one.
Nick! Oh, boy. Nick!
What?
Nick! What? Nick, come on. What the
Okay.
heck is Mom doing in the house here, huh? I want you to be really honest with me right now. Does she know I'm here?
You know, call me crazy, but my mom comes and visits me for the holidays every year. Okay.
Yeah, but I'm not going in there, Nick, because I don't visit with Mom for the holidays, and I don't for good reason.
It would be really nice if for once things were nice and calm and you just dropped by for dinner.
It was actually very easy to improvise with him.
Come on, ho, 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 I'm not going to listen to
guess what?
no.
Here's a book. It's called
Which-
Does
yeah.
Fred Go to Dinner?
Uh-huh.
You open it up, you flip through the pages,
With this kind of comedy, he improvises a lot. So I just took his lead, and he'll just try out a million things, and you realize that basically you can't really say anything wrong, so you can just say whatever the hell comes into your head. The sequel, it's in stores now. You know what it's called? Ding Dong, Who's There? Why, it's Fred. There were lots of funny things that didn't make it because they were too dirty, because I just was too tempted being dressed like that to say just dirty things all the time, figuring this is how much can I actually get away with playing Santa Claus, but I didn't get away with any of it. None of that ended up in the movie.
Hold you! Holy cow.
Oh my goodness.
Look and listen, baby, that's my philosophy.
It sounds angry.
I know. I like it.
The little people, though, the Russian little people were extraordinary. They're some of the most talented people I've ever worked with. They're all very skilled actors and gymnasts, and they can do anything. They're amazing. I would do a lot of off-camera stuff as my character with my body double, and I'd provide the voice off screen so that we could improvise. Vince likes to improvise. And then later, if we liked what my body was doing, we would shoot my head and then put my head onto the... It's very complicated.
You sure you wouldn't be more comfortable down here on the bottom?
I don't think it's going to make much of a difference, Willie.
You have like Paul Giamatti, Miranda Richardson, Rachel Weisz, Kathy Bates, Kevin Spacey. And to be honest, I got sick of giving acting lessons on the set. It's like, guys, I can't give you notes on every scene. I got to perform here, too.
Fred! All you think about is yourself.
Don't throw snowballs at me.
Fat boy! Ah, come on. Oh,
Dermot Murnaghan has a new desk job. From the 7th of January, he'll be joining the Sky News team to bring you all the news and views every weekday morning. Sky News, first for breaking news.
Good morning and welcome to Sky News.
The Homebase biggest ever furniture sale is now on, with over 570 lines reduced across living, dining and bedroom furniture. Like save over £1,000 when you buy 2 of these sofas. You can even buy now and pay nothing until 2009 when you spend over £1,000 on your Homebase card. Homebase, make a house a home.
Even the smallest drop of our detergent is now bursting with fragrance.
Let's drift away, ooh, on dreamers day. Ooh, let's drift along and sing a song together.
2 times concentrated, surf small and mighty.
Arthur. Morning. Morning.
Excuse us, aren't you Derek Warburton's lad?
I am, yeah.
We knew your dad. Do you still bake that lovely milk roll?
Oh,
no, it probably does all his baking on a laptop.
No, I'm still very much.
Not like it was when men did stuff with their hands. You're not wrong there.
Actually. Right then. Bye. Any other queries, email me at the bakery.
Meet Susie and Dave. The happy couple. They want their own place.
So, we need to get a mortgage.
As well as all the other stuff for their nest. Which means they need home, buildings, and pet insurance. Oh yeah, and car insurance too. As well as breakdown cover. And just in case things get tight, they checked out the best deals on loans and credit cards too. All here at the #1 financial price comparison site. Whatever you need in life, MoneySupermarket.com compares the market in seconds to get you the best deal. MoneySupermarket.com, the price comparison site.
Lid Liquors, real people aged 1 to 100. Fat-free Muller Lite, packed with real fruit. And contains as much calcium as a glass of milk. But it's still amazingly light. Deliciously fruity, fat-free Muller Lite.
At MoneySupermarket.com, we've got hundreds of loans, whatever your needs. Our unique Smart Search instantly gives you your personal credit profile and shows loans that match your circumstances. So if you've got a good credit history and are looking to buy a car, or even if you're consolidating debts to sort out your finances, MoneySupermarket.com could find you the best deal. Whatever you're looking for, MoneySupermarket.com compares the market in seconds. MoneySupermarket.com, the price comparison site.
Here's a little lift!
Another refreshing little lift from Tic Tac.
The thing about shredded wheat is, it's just whole grain wheat. Nothing else. No added anything. It makes you think. There must be other cereals with just one ingredient. Maybe a... No. 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 Shredded wheat may be good for my heart, but now my brain hurts.
And if you'd like a fruitier way to enjoy shredded wheat, try new improved Fruitful Shredded Wheat, now with plumper, juicier raisins.
We've been waiting for you.
You
Yippee-ki-yay! Die Hard 4.0, now showing on Skybox Office and Skybox Office HD.
Are you sitting comfortably? They're not.
What about your time inside? Your dark side? What's your worst secret? What's your worst fear?
Hear the questions and the A-list answers. Oh my God. Inside the Actors Studio, weekdays at 9 and weekends at 8 on Sky Arts, channel 267.
There are moments you remember, memories you grew up with, places that changed, dreams lost and found. 14, wishing you were 16. The baddies you loved to hate, the good guys you hated to love. Moments shared, moments felt, moments past. A magic that lingers forever. The moments that made your heart race, the spark, the rush, the beat, the real deal. Yours. Ours. Here. Now. Moments with lovers, with family, with friends. Their moments. Our moments. And great moments begin here.
Sky Movies Indie, in association with Tiger Beer. Discover the tiger.
Sky has rated the following film as 15, suitable for viewers aged 15 and over.
This is BBC One. Now, Delia Smith presents one way to stay healthy, vegetarian cooking.
Witness the creation of a living masterpiece.
Venice was now the center of the world. It became rich beyond its wildest dreams.
And experience the struggle for survival.
Venice knew that art was its most powerful asset.
Francesco de Mosto's Venice continues next Saturday at 9:10 on BBC Two.
What happened to separate us from them?
Islands apart.
The answer is the most dramatic thing ever to befall our country.
Join Alan Titchmarsh for British Isles, A Natural History.
Wednesday at 9 on BBC One. He's climbing every mountain.
My lungs are already telling me we're pretty high.
I feel quite weary, and I know that along there is the path to Annapurna.
After the emptiness of the mountains, Kathmandu comes as quite a shock.
86.
I only hope I can get a leg over at 86.
Himalaya with Michael Palin continues tomorrow at 9 on BBC One.
That one. Little Britain, a nation of one voice.
Any bridesmaids outfits for a short fat bloke?
A nation with one clear message.
God, this is too unfair. Ain't on everything, ain't nothing or nothing.
Ready to shout it from the rooftops.
Gay rights now.
Yeah, no. I believe in a little Britain, a united nation of comedy.
The brand new series starts Tuesday at 9 on BBC Three.
What a kerfuffle. Ask not what 08700 101010 can do for you. Just call it to get Little Britain first.
Here on BBC Two now, the last of today's films celebrating the birth of Oscar Wilde. Set in 1960s Dublin, Albert Finney stars in A Man of No Importance.
For what it is, and your average French woman. Ah, here is an average French woman. What do you say, Fifi?
Nautilus? Naughty French rhyme.
About time I had a top. Seems rather nice to me. Wonder why they call it naughty.
Welcome back, and if you've just joined us, hello. In 5 minutes, John Swinfield and the Enterprise team take a look at Mouse Millions. But first, here's the news headlines.
The Labour leader, Mr. Foote, has said he will continue to lead the party even if Labour loses at the Darlington by-election. He said on ITV's Weekend World he had no intention of resigning and forecast Labour would win Darlington. He said if his opponents in the party wanted him out, they would have to put up a candidate and beat him in an election. Mr. Foote also condemned the visit to Northern Ireland by Mr. Ken Livingstone, the Labour leader of the Greater London Council. He's been in Belfast meeting leaders of Sinn Féin, the political wing of the IRA. Mr. Foote said Sinn Féin is a terrorist organisation. He said, I'm sure if Ken Livingstone spoke to all sections of the population in Northern Ireland, he would understand that better. But Mr. Tony Benn said he thinks Mr. Livingstone is absolutely right to meet the Sinn Féin leaders. He said in a radio interview Mr. Livingstone was seeking to speak to people elected to the Northern Ireland Assembly set up by the Tories. He said Mr. Livingstone had overwhelming support in his attempt to find a solution by talking instead of shooting. The SDP president, Mrs. Shirley Williams, has said there are no safe Labour or Tory seats after the Bermondsey by-election. She told the SDP Scottish Assembly that so-called safe Labour and Tory constituencies could be easier for the alliance to win because electors there had been treated like voting fodder. The opposition leader in Zimbabwe, Mr. Joshua Nkomo, claims he's under house arrest. He's been told he must tell police before he leaves his home in Bulawayo. Mr. Nkomo has denied charges by Mr. Robert Mugabe that he's seeking South African military aid in order to seize power. That's all for now. The next news on ITV is at 6:30.
And now look at the weather prospects over the British Isles during tonight and tomorrow. This evening, eastern areas of England and Scotland will be wet at first with some heavy rain in places, but they should become dry during the next few hours. In the north and east, there'll be some showers. Tomorrow will be a breezy day with fairly strong westerly winds. Northern and western parts will be bright but showery, while in central and eastern areas of Britain, the weather should be mostly dry with sunny periods. And that's the weather.
On Channel 4 tonight, The Avengers, when Steve and Mrs. Steele enter the world of big business and stage business.
Age 41, comes from an old music hall family.
Looks like it could be his farewell appearance.
Easily.
Where is he going?
Switzerland.
And the currency and valuables keep turning up in Switzerland.
3.5 million. That's only the bit we know.
Wow. Rhodes stole the diamonds and presumably was taking them out of the country.
Why didn't you tell the police?
You don't know much about the lit-off organization, do you, Mr. Steed?
Nobody does. Now that's what's so intriguing.
Dummies and Diamonds in The Avengers at 7:15 tonight on Channel 4.
And now we're off to sunnier climes for Enterprise.
For a copy of the current BBC Learning Zone programme guide, send an A4 stamped addressed envelope with stamps to the value of 35p to BBC Learning Zone, Current TV, 11 Lakeside, Neptune Close, Rochester, Kent, ME2 4LT. You're watching the Open University on BBC Learning Zone as we take a mathematical look into the future of the largest animal that's ever lived.
Politicians used to offer us dreams of a better future. Now they promise to protect us from nightmares.
Those evildoers.
And have stumbled on a way of restoring power and authority to governments. Yet just as their dreams weren't true, neither are the nightmares. In a major new series, we see how our climate of fear was created and why, who benefits, and how much of it is an illusion. The Power of Nightmares, Wednesday at 9 on BBC Two.
Imagine the next 20 seconds are the last of your life. You might expect to think about your family. You might expect to think about your friends. You might even expect to meet God at the end of a tunnel. Unless, of course, you're Jonathan Miller.
Jonathan Miller's Brief History of Disbelief. Monday at 9:30 on BBC 4. To find out how you can get BBC 4 on cable and satellite services and Freeview, call 08700 10 10 10.
And you might find yourself in another part of the world.
And you may find yourself behind a wheel of a large automobile.
And you may find yourself in a beautiful house.
With a beautiful wife. And you may ask yourself, well, how did I get here?
You might ask yourself, am I right? Am I wrong? Same as it ever was. Same as it ever was.
Find yourself in Silver Street, the new radio soap from BBC Asian Network on DAB Digital Radio.
I'm still so angry. When they phoned, I just went numb. I kept saying there must be some kind of mistake. It's not as if we live in the inner city. You just don't expect anything like this. I mean, what could he have done to deserve that?
More and more children all over Britain are carrying knives and using them.
Panorama investigates. Tomorrow, 10:15, BBC One.
Now on BBC Two, we join BBC News 24.
Huge crisis, a huge time bomb. And I say the government's had their head in the sands for 7 years.
Well, over the next 20 years, the government wants to build 500,000 new homes in the east of England. Ministers say it'll provide a vital boost to the economy. Or will it instead devastate a region that's already overpopulated?
This is the area earmarked for development over the next 2 decades. Existing towns along the M11 corridor could expand and some greenbelt areas may disappear. The government wants cheaper homes for health workers, teachers and young families, but others say the area can't cope.
The government's got, at some stage or other, has got to sit down and decide what it is they're trying to achieve. Why is this government almost abandoning the north of England, which desperately needs investment and regeneration, and trying to pack everything into the southeast, which is already very much overheated on housing prices and things like that, and congestion.
The plans for housing developments in the east of England are ambitious. Hertfordshire, Essex and Cambridgeshire would get the most new homes. There could be close to 500,000 more in the region by 2021. That's just under 24,000 new buildings a year. But it's the areas near the A1 and M11 which environmentalists are most concerned about.
There are some very big physical problems, like all the roads are already full, the railways are under pressure, there isn't money for new infrastructure, and the implications for flooding and water supply could be catastrophic because the east of England is the driest part of the UK, yet we're suggesting here putting forward hundreds of thousands of new houses.
But the government says that's what's needed if economic growth is to continue. Thousands of jobs could depend on it, and ministers insist worries about the environment and infrastructure will be addressed before any more building gets underway.
Nick, the government is caught between a rock and a hard place on this. On the one hand, it wants to build more houses. The economy needs it. Teachers, health workers need it. But on the other hand, it doesn't want to pave over the greenbelt. Can it do both?
No, I mean, it's incredibly difficult, and it was interesting when this report came out, the Tories said the government want to pave over the greenbelt. That will be an absolute disaster. Nobody wants to do that, but equally, the property market has gone crazy, particularly in the southeast. People, particularly public sector workers, are being priced out of the property market. That is not realistic. So the government thinks you've got to deal with supply, and if you deal with supply, that's going to knock down the prices. Now, there is an academic argument, which I'm not wholly familiar with, which says actually if you deal with the supply side that won't necessarily make a difference, but nevertheless there is a crisis. They have to feel they've got to deal with it, but as you say, it's between a rock and a hard place.
Julia, some people say, look, why pack the southeast with more houses? Shouldn't we put them for other parts of the country where there's less congestion, where there's more development needed, where it could use all these new people and these new jobs?
Well, exactly. I mean, there's an awful lot of development going on in the West Midlands, the East Midlands and the North. And Scotland desperately needs more housing. I mean, exactly, it does seem very strange. And also, why build on greenbelt land when everyone knows there are, thousands and thousands of sites across sort of urban landscapes which are just lying empty and could desperately need renewal. But we are in a situation where NIMBYism has been replaced by banana, which has built absolutely nothing anywhere, never at any time. I mean, you're not allowed to build anything anywhere. There's always going to be someone who complains, no matter where you build, no matter what. But we do need more homes, and I think it is basic economics. It's demand and supply. Yeah. The reason why house prices have gone up, especially in the southeast in London, is that there has been no increase in supply at all in the last 10 years, and a massive increase in demand. More people coming to the country, more people coming to the southeast for work. Public sector workers, if we want people to work in the health service, we want teachers, they have to have somewhere to live. We can't expect people to commute from Derby. It's not going to work.
Ben, is the government ready to take on the commuter belt? Are these the core voters, people the government really wants to irritate at a time in the run-up to an election?
Well, you wouldn't think so, because a lot of these areas that we're talking about, particularly in the east and southeast, are still Tory areas, those few remaining Tory areas out in the stockbroker belts and the places where people relatively well-off commute into London. So it's quite surprising that the government would want to take them on and annoy them. But on the other hand, John Prescott's calculation is that there aren't many votes for Labour in the southeast, so it doesn't really matter if he concretes over huge chunks of it. But the other issue is that the structure of the family has been changing over the years, and there are more and more single-parent families, more and more people who don't live in groups together and who want their own homes. and who want space for their children. And so, in a certain sense, it's being driven by demand, this huge demand. And people want to come to the South East because the South East is the engine room of the British economy. It's where the jobs are. It's where everybody wants to go. So, in a funny way, Gordon Brown and John Prescott are responding to demand. The Tories would say, isn't it interesting that this government feels that it needs to do anything about it, that it needs to have a policy, that it needs to set numbers for how many houses it should build? Why should the government decide that it's going to build 500 million homes? That's something really that could be left to the market.
Nick, Ben mentioned John Prescott there. How much is this sort of Prescott's baby, and is he going alone on this? I mean, has he got the rest of the government alongside him?
I think he has. I mean, it is very much his baby. He's very much pushing it. But I do think the government feels very, very strongly about public sector workers who are being priced out of the market and teachers who are having to move out of the South East. And it's this point that it would be great to build all these houses in the north, but of course, there are jobs in the north, but the concentration of jobs is in the south, and the concentration of those public sector jobs are here, and people are being priced out. So I think the government's together on this one, but it is very, very difficult, and it will be interesting if, as Ben says, it becomes a really political hot potato in the run-up to the general election. Will there be nerves in Downing Street over this one?
Julie, do you think the government's got the risk, or the government will take the risk on this?
Well, they always do. John Prescott's has got a rather sort of good attitude on these things, which is, you know, stuff everyone, I'm going to go ahead with it. But it's a long consultation process, and these things do take time, and our planning procedures are rather more complicated than they are in the rest of Europe, so we shall have to wait and see, I think.
So, who's sorry now? Well, the Prime Minister for one. This week, he finally apologised for using intelligence about Iraq that turned out to be wrong. But he would not apologise for misrepresenting the case for war or getting rid of Saddam Hussein.
As the situation in Iraq has unravelled, so the language of the Prime Minister has gone through some subtle changes. 2 years ago, he was telling MPs that intelligence on Saddam's WMD was extensive, detailed and authoritative. By the time of the Butler inquiry this summer, he was accepting personal responsibility for the way the issue was presented and any errors made. Last month, Mr Blair told the Labour conference, "I can apologise for the information that turned out to be wrong, but cannot apologise for removing Saddam."
Prime Minister.
And then today, a little further still.
I take full responsibility and indeed apologise for any information given in good faith that has subsequently turned out to be wrong. That is entirely proper. I've already done so. What I do not in any way accept is that there was any deception of anyone.
But that wasn't enough for the Tory leader.
I asked him very specifically about the way he misrepresented the intelligence he received to the country. Why can't he bring himself now to say sorry for that?
I cannot bring myself to say that I misrepresented the evidence, since I do not accept that I did.
So no S word then, despite the fact that other members of the cabinet have said sorry. The Lib Dems accused him of leading the country into an illegal war.
Now that we know there were no weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, regime change becomes the only remaining argument. But the Prime Minister knows that regime change is contrary to international law.
It was a difficult choice. I took the choice. I stand by it. But if he had had his way, let's be clear about this also, Saddam Hussein and his sons would still be running Iraq. Right?
Julia, the Iraqi Survey Group has told us there were no weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. The Foreign Office has now formally withdrawn the 45-minute claim, and the Prime Minister this week has apologised over the intelligence being wrong. Is that enough?
It's going to have to be enough. The Prime Minister is not going to apologise for misleading the country. He doesn't think he did. The Butler report said he didn't. The Hutton report said he didn't. Now, we all know he did. There is no doubt about anybody who, for instance, who sat in the Hutton inquiry over the fact that the dossier was sexed up. And to say that apologising for the intelligence being wrong is absurd, because, of course, the intelligence wasn't wrong. The intelligence was very clear. It was, we don't know. And what he said was, in his dossier, was, we do know, and there's lots of evidence, and there's a 45-minute threat, etc., etc. So one thing the Prime Minister can never do is stand up in the House of Commons and say, yeah, do you know what, I lied to everybody, because he can't do that, because that's a resigning issue. I don't think that's ever going to happen. And I think he will get away with it, because these reports, which, although in lots of ways are whitewashes, have actually stood that up. But also on his defence is that most people do actually still still support the war. They do think it was the right thing to have done. Saddam Hussein is gone. The mass graves have been discovered. We do know that the only reason we do know that there are no weapons is because the Iraq Survey Group was able to go in. And the whole point was they weren't able to go in before there was the 1441 resolution from November 2002, which actually got the UN inspectors back into Iraq to find out what was going on. And yet we would never have actually found anything out until we got rid of Saddam Hussein, so the Iraqi inspectors could actually go in and really see properly what was going on without actually being sort of held up at every possible opportunity by the Iraqi officials. So I think he will get away with it, but I think everyone really will know that they know he lied.
But you see, I mean, I think he'll get away with it in the sense of I don't think there's going to reach a point where he's going to have to resign if he doesn't give the apology. But where I think he won't get away with it is he is never going to recover his authority. Because as you were saying earlier on, we all know that basically Downing Street fed us the intelligence that they wanted us to see. And that famous phrase from the Butler report that MI6 had said the intelligence on Iraq was sporadic and patchy. And people are always going to have their doubts that Downing Street essentially sexed it up. And that feeds into other doubts about Tony Blair that were there way before the Iraq War, that essentially they're too slippery by half. And I think what this week's episode showed, which is getting on for a year and a half after this war, is that the Prime Minister cannot get away with it. And the chances are he's going to win the next election and he's going to win it very well. But people
That's getting away with it.
Well, no, because what it is that people's trust in him is really seriously dented. And in a sense, the election Labour needs to worry about is not the 2005 election, it's the 2009 election. Now, we know he's not going to be leader of the Labour Party then, but what is going to happen to that Labour government in the third term if people really have no trust in him?
Ben, why are we so obsessed with the famous S word, sorry? I mean, some people might say, look, this is just beltway stuff, it's semantics, it's not something that we should be worried about. But other people say, no, it does actually matter that the Prime Minister takes responsibility.
But I think that's just code, isn't it, for getting the Prime Minister to admit that he lied to the British people. And the minute he does, as Julia rightly points out, he'll have to resign. And so this talk about getting him to say sorry is what the Liberal Democrats, the Conservatives and the opponents of the war are using to put him into a position where he's forced out. And as my colleagues rightly say, that ain't going to happen. But I think what's more telling is really how the electorate respond to it. I don't think I agree with Nick about people's slumping trust in Tony Blair, because if Trump's trust in Tony Blair collapsed, he'd lose the next election and they'd chuck him out. I think what's more interesting is the fact that the voters seem to be, to a huge extent, almost oblivious to this debate that a very small bunch of people at Westminster are having day by day, week by week. It is a desperately important issue because it goes to the heart of how the country is governed, and really we have here evidence that Tony Blair...
I don't think that's right.
But the fact is that Tony Blair is likely to win the election again, and I think one of the issues for the politicians who are chasing him on this issue is that they aren't finding ways to make it tell as an issue with the voters.
But if you look at the polls, trust in him has collapsed. And why is he going to win the election? Because the Tories are nowhere. And one of the main reasons why the Tories are nowhere is on the defining issue of the last 20 years, which is the Iraq War.
No,
they were on the same side.
Tony Blair is going to win the
and
election because the
really
economy is going gangbusters and most people have jobs and everybody has wealth. I think we fool ourselves if we think that Iraq is the defining issue of the election. I think people are going to vote for Tony Blair because he's managed the economy in a fairly...
Yeah, health, education, things like that. Exactly. I mean, I do think, actually, that there is no other choice people feel, so they've got Tony Blair. But also, fundamentally, they feel it was the right decision. And they think that things were spun, and they think they were lied to, and they think there was a little, you say, little slipperiness.
I don't think the polls show that. The polls show the nation was divided down the middle on this.
Well, most people still think it was a good thing that Saddam was gone. They would have rather done it a different way, and they don't live in the real world because it was never going to happen in a different way.
The polls show at the time of the war the support went up for the war because our boys were in action, but since then the support for the war has gone down. That's
people
not what
still
the polls
think it was good to get rid of Saddam Hussein, and that's what's going to last. And in 10 years' time, people are going to look back and say, do you know what, Saddam Hussein isn't there, and there aren't mass graves anymore. And I think most people remember that, and they won't remember the Hutton report and little words.
That's simplistic. And the line that John Kerry's coming up, which is really interesting across the other side of the Atlantic, is that it was the wrong time and it was distorting the war against terrorism.
But Ben, why have the Tories not managed to make the link between Iraq and trust? Because that's the issue, isn't it?
Well, one of the issues for them is that they slavishly followed the government into the war. Ian Duncan Smith was shown the intelligence and party to the briefings, and he went along with it. And so the Tories are in a very awkward position. It's very difficult for them to diss Blair on the wall because they were signed up. And so now Michael Howard, every time he steps forward on this issue, people remember, hang on, didn't you back the war? what are you saying now? And so I think that's the reason why they've found it very difficult to connect.
And it's a curse on the Tories, because Michael Howard has very effectively and very forensically taken Tony Blair apart on the war on this, on the saying sorry. And, you know, it's a good performance in the House of Commons.
This week,
but he is getting absolutely no benefit from him because he supported the war, and it's also showing how negative he is.
Just leave it there. That's all for this week. My thanks to Nick Watt of The Guardian, Julia Hartley-Brewer of The Sunday Express, and Ben Brogan of The Daily Mail. More Straight Talk next week, but for now, goodbye.
Hello there. Any overnight fog shouldn't last for too long in southern England because we've got some light and patchy rain edging its way south, and that of course brings a lot of cloud with it. In fact, the whole of the UK shrouded in cloud through the morning, but the cloud will keep those temperatures no lower than 5 or 6 degrees, so a frost-free start to the day, but it certainly will be a little bit on the chilly side. Grey too across most parts of the UK. The majority of the morning rain really confined to eastern and northern parts of the UK, while central and western areas, yes, it will be pretty grey to start with, but we'll see some brightness around, but equally 1 or 2 early showers. Come the afternoon, it's a broadly similar setup. Most of the rain through northern and eastern areas, central and western parts, well, I think we will see a bit more brightness around through the afternoon, but equally 1 or 2 fairly well scattered showers. Temperatures pretty similar to what we've seen recently, 10 to 12 degrees for most of us. So at the Gulf in Wentworth, of course, it's the final day. Further showers are possible, but for the most part, it should be a lot brighter than we've seen on recent days. And of course, you can catch all of that on Grandstand. Charlton taking on Newcastle could well stay dry. A chance of the odd shower, and that's of course on Radio 5 Live. Further north, well, I think the chances of catching a little bit of rain in Scotland, certainly that bit higher. Motherwell taking on Rangers, a little bit of rain certainly likely. And most of the horse race meetings, well, there'll be some brightness around, but still there is the chance of 1 or 2 showers. Into the start of the new week, it's the north and the west where we're really looking, our weather front moving in. That's going to bring some cloud and some rain with it, and we could even see maybe a few flakes of snow on the tops of those Scottish mountains, but not a great deal of that by any means. Southern Scotland, most of England and Wales, it could well be a frosty start to things. But I think we'll see those temperatures recovering. At the same time, though, we could well see some mist and some fog to start the day. And some of that fog a little bit reluctant to clear, but it will do. Then for the most part, England and Wales should be dry and bright. Of course, we've got the Olympic parade on Monday afternoon. In central London, should be dry and bright, but a bit of a cool feel to things. Tuesday, fairly unsettled for most of the UK. It's really towards the east of the Pennines, down towards Lincolnshire and East Anglia that stands the best chance of staying dry. Still fairly unsettled for many on Wednesday. Here's a summary.
The most infamous theatre in the land. Lavish sets, thrilling plots, a cast of heroes and villains.
Here Guy Fawkes planted his gunpowder, a monarch was tried for his life, even a prime minister assassinated.
Dan Cruikshank explores one of the greatest political stages in the world, the Palace of Westminster.
A building that is, in a very special way, a people's palace.
Britain's best buildings, coming soon to BBC Two.
Witness the creation of a living masterpiece.
Venice was now the center of the world. It became rich beyond its wildest dreams.
And experience the struggle for survival.
Venice knew that art was its most powerful asset.
Francesco Damosto's Venice continues next Saturday at 9:10 on BBC Two.
Hello and a very warm welcome to a busy night of programmes from BBC Learning Zone. And all the way through until 6 a.m, we're going to be bringing you a wide range of Open University and general interest programmes. So this is how the whole night looks. In half an hour, Blue Haven asks whether it's too late to save the whale. And at 3, the true geometry of nature considers the mathematical mistake which led to an important discovery. Followed at 3:30 by a look at the unlikely connection between maths and dance in a language for movement. Before any of that, we explore a bit of mathematics which has been caught in time.
Juggling is becoming very popular, and not just as a spectator activity. It's now a very common amateur pastime with children and adults alike.
Okay, watch the ball leaving one of my hands.
It's even used in the classroom.
I want you to describe what that path is and also why it follows that path. Everyone got it? Question number 1, path followed by a juggling ball. Who can help us? Emma?
It follows the shape of a parabola.
Yeah, and why does it do that?
Because the acceleration is in a vertical movement, with no horizontal forces acting upon it.
Great, yeah. Okay, question number 2. Why is juggling with 3 objects of different mass no problem?
But why is juggling so popular? What exactly is juggling?
If you look it up in a dictionary, it says to deceive by manipulation. But these days, juggling is generally regarded as a hobby or an entertainment and not usually to deceive. But it's always the manipulation of objects, usually keeping objects in motion. And this single definition seems to cover all the forms that people use with juggling, from 1 ball while doing gymnastics through to 9 balls while going for world record attempts.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and he's done it. No, yes, he did it.
Congratulations, Margaret. Yeah, great stuff. Right here.
That was very close. A little thinking caught that.
Excellent. Congratulations on your world record.
Thank you.
There are many different types of juggling. There's the classical juggling, which everybody thinks of as being what the clown does with a set of balls or juggling clubs. Other objects are juggled as well. Rings, which are sort of like plates with holes punched in them. And as well as those, people juggle bowling balls and chainsaws, which everybody asks you about. But there are other types of juggling as well. There's a thing called the devil stick, which is a long rod, and then you've got 2 sticks, like chopsticks, only a bit bigger, that you hold in your hand, and you bat this long rod back and forth between them. There's a thing called a diablo, which is like a double-ended spinning top, which you have, again, 2 poles, and this time with a string between them, and you keep the diablo going on the string. There are things called shaker cups, and there's all sorts of different objects you can juggle and different ways of doing it.
I'm in fact the only juggler stupid enough to use real bone china crockery in any of his shows.
People juggle many different objects in many different ways. Some do it in pairs, or even in 3s. Many juggle Indian clubs, whereas others juggle balls, or hoops, or a mixture of things. In this programme, we'll be modelling juggling mathematically. To do that, we'll need to restrict the patterns we're trying to model, so we'll only focus on juggling with balls, and upwards. So this isn't allowed, and neither is this. And to begin with, we'll look at patterns with only 3 balls. The most basic 3-ball trick is called the cascade. But there are many 3-ball tricks with names that reflect their patterns, names like tennis, the half shower, the shower, and the inverse shower. Some tricks involve elaborate hand movements as well as throwing, as in this one, which is called Mill's Mess. With so many ways of juggling the 3 balls, it's hard to see how to describe the actual patterns systematically. But that's what's challenged mathematician and keen amateur juggler Colin Wright.
Because I am trying to show you what juggling is all about from the point of view of a mathematician. That doesn't mean it won't necessarily be entertaining. I hope it's entertaining at the same time. Back in 1985, we decided we wanted a dictionary of juggling patterns. Partly this was so that we could then go through a regular practice session and make sure that nothing got lost. We also wanted to have some kind of grading of difficult patterns and easy patterns so that people who were learning could progress through a set sequence. And we realised that there was no sensible way of writing down a description of a juggling pattern.
If we want a mathematical model of juggling patterns, we have to decide exactly what is being modelled. And that means making certain assumptions in formulating the model, assumptions that may be relaxed at a later stage.
When we tried to describe juggling patterns, the problem seemed completely intractable. So we did what is a standard trick in mathematics, which is to look for a simple problem which was closely related. And what we did was we decided to concentrate on just a subset of juggling patterns. And so we came up with a set of restrictions, which were basically that we assumed that the hands were full for just half the time. Note the silly expression on the face, mandatory for juggling.
Now on BBC Learning Zone, we're getting our DNA in a twist in Science Bites.
Sylvia Spangler and DeWitt Sumners are a unique team. He's a mathematician, she's a biologist.
The Open University has a scheme allowing other organisations to record its programmes for teaching and training. For more information, call 01908 858 766. You're watching BBC Learning Zone as we discover dancer DNA in cyber art.
When we started working in multimedia, one of the most interesting areas to work tightly together, I think, is an entirely new experience for many people.
There's an easy way to get ahead overnight.
A beer, please.
With BBC Learning Zone. Each night covers a single subject. So recording and learning is simple. BBC Learning Zone, every night throughout the week on BBC Two. Just remember to switch on before you switch off.
For a copy of the current BBC Learning Zone programme guide, send an A4 stamped addressed envelope with stamps to the value of 35p to BBC Learning Zone, Current TV, 11 Lakeside, Neptune Close, Rochester, Kent, ME2 4LT. You're watching The Open University on BBC Learning Zone as the unlikely connection between maths and movement is explored in A Language for Movement. Programmes from the OU open up a world of knowledge for everyone to watch. So for a free magazine with details of all our programmes, call 0870 900 0303 or log on to open2.net. Latin music lover Claudia Winkleman goes in search of the secrets of salsa, now on BBC Learning Zone in Mind Bites.
At the office.
3 factures, n'est-ce pas? Oui, bien.
Or down on the beach.
Por favor.
Checking in or dining out.
Et maintenant, bon appétit. Fantastico.
2 billets, s'il vous plaît. Voilà.
Whatever you want to say, it's now even easier with BBC Learning Zone's dedicated night for languages.
We should be able to learn a foreign language, shouldn't we? Babies do.
Every Monday night from 1 on BBC Two.
For a copy of the current BBC Learning Zone programme guide, send an A4 stamped addressed envelope with stamps to the value of 35p to BBC Learning Zone, Current TV, 11 Lakeside, Neptune Close, Rochester, Kent, ME2 4L. Here's what we still have in store for you today on BBC Learning Zone. In half an hour, maths meets physics to explain the amazing abilities of spiders. And that's followed by a look at the inner workings of cells in Cell City. And then at 5:30, Snapshots investigates the environmental impact of an invasion of crayfish. Before any of that, we check into a strange mathematical hotel.
Exceptional value.
Spend time on shampoo and conditioner? Take 2 bottles into the shower? Not me. I just want to wash my hair and go. So I use Vidal Sassoon Wash and Go. Salon shampoo plus complete conditioner in 1 bottle. Vidal Sassoon Wash and Go leaves my hair clean, fully conditioned and looking terrific. Shampoo and conditioner? Not me. Now I just wash and go.
Salon shampoo and complete conditioner in 1. Vidal Sassoon Wash and Go.
America's 3 favorite bachelors are back. And this time, fatherhood's presenting some even bigger surprises.
What a crock. Hey, where did you hear that expression?
What a crock. What'd they do? Touchstone Pictures presents Tom Selleck, Steve Guttenberg, and Ted Danson.
Hey, run it along. You're on.
3 men and a little lady.
How come none of you are married?
Rated PG.
At a cinema near you from Friday.
As dentists will tell you, tartar is a serious problem. They use this to scrape it away. That's why you need Tartar Control Crest, which not only fights decay, but also reduces tartar formation. Even with regular brushing, tartar can build up over time. But by brushing with Tartar Control Crest, almost everyone has less tartar. Some have none at all. And less tartar means less scraping when you visit the dentist. Tartar Control Crest. Help your dentist to fight tartar.
At Comet, all Hotpoint products are being held at sale prices. And now we've added interest-free credit. You know where to come.
Baxter's tomato and orange. More than a soupçon of imagination.
Oh, help!
Oh, thank you.
Rapunzel! Rapunzel! Let down your hair!
Only if you give me a roller, oh brave knight.
But I've only got one left. Do you love anyone enough to give them your last Rolo? Soft, creamy toffee in a milk chocolate cup. Here, let me help.
Now, let down your hair!
Friday is red letter day for Brenda in watching.
No. How come nobody's going to buy us a lawnmower? Besides which, we'll have no lawn to mow.
Find someone else, someone more on your wavelength. After all, there's plenty more fish on the beach. And pebbles in the sea.
And men are the main preoccupation at 8:35.
Plenty of fences, Joyce Watson.
Oh, come on, girls, I'm buying.
Look, why aren't you being sick in a gutter like any normal drunk?
Fun for Friday on Granada.
Tom Hanks decides to marry and is given an unforgettable bachelor party.
You're really gonna like it. Oh, come on, honey, wait, hey, come on, we'll take turns.
How can we be sure this room is at the right temperature? He's happy. If he was cold, his fur would stand up to trap warm air. He'd shiver. He'd hug himself to keep warm. She's not saying much. If her fur is standing up, it's hard to see. She's too young to sweat or shiver. The only way to tell is to touch her. She's fine. Hardly surprising. British Gas central heating is one of the most controllable systems known to man or beast. Gas, the heat of the moment.
Chocolate. Oh, yeah. Caramel. Mmm, crunch. Great fish. Imagine a shampoo. This pure, this gentle, Timothy, with natural herb extracts, rinses clean away. No matter how many times you use it, Timothy, all it leaves is beautiful hair.
British Telecom now introduce the world's most advanced range of digital phone systems, Meridian. An integrated range designed to meet the needs of businesses worldwide, whether large or small. The Meridian family. Now available in the UK. Only from British Telecom.
What's new that's sometimes green, sometimes golden? Always heavy and firm, always juicy and sweet. You can have it before, during, or after. It's Sweetie from Jaffa. All the goodness of grapefruit, but sweet.
Can getting angry be good for you? Could a bulging tummy just be water retention? Know Yourself helps you make up your own mind about your health, body, emotions and relationships. It's an A to Z with clear information, like how natural remedies work, how to understand the pressures in your life, and how to care for your body. With charts, checklists and the fact file, Know Yourself is the complete guide to your body and mind.
She was around at the time of Waterloo, you know. Survived the Industrial Revolution. Really? Oh, yes. Then came through 2 world wars. And a depression. I feel very depressed now, I must say. No. Scottish Widows has been going from strength to strength for over 175 years. Which might come as a bit of a blow for the competition.
Will your next car have the option of quite
Quattro four-wheel drives? Call Audi on 0800 585 685 to make sure.
Because a dose of other cough medicine only works for a few hours, Beecham have developed cough caps, a capsule that gives up to 8 hours cough relief, day or night.
Okay, Ricky.
Gone just a few seconds, and I missed him already.
If you're in business and want to make ready reputation, the next day, then for all your occasions, prepaid Norway Network now.
I've been trying to describe the richness of Maxwell House. I could say that marvellous Max aroma gets your taste buds reveling in an orgy of richness. Or I could say Max is not just rich, it's positively well off.
Why use 50 words to describe Maxwell House when two say it all? Max richness. When they come home cold, warm them up with hot Ribena, packed with a goodness of vitamin C. New Branston Hot. I'm just trying to find a way to make it feel, get through to you. I got to tell you, I really, really do. Darling, with something never change, you know you can't stop the taste of this world. You can't stop the taste of this world.
Don't forget the pancakes on Jif Lemon Day.
What a great video. I'm really glad we bought it.
Yeah, it cracks me up every time I see it.
How about when the guy... Everyone should have a friend like you.
Oh, yeah, but the girl's great when...
There's Leslie Nielsen. Especially in the hospital.
Yeah, you would find that funny.
Let's see it again.
Buy it, live it. The Naked Gun, available from Woolworths, W.H. Smith, HMV, R-Price, John Menzies, and all good video stockists.
No matter how life goes, with all its joys and woes, I never feel in a down. I guess I'm just an amicable man. That's right. Got no worries financially, got a pension and policy.
With a pension from Scottish Amicable, you won't have to worry about life's little ups and downs.
No wonder
Scottish Amicable. Pension, life assurance, endowment.
Proton Cars. 10% deposit, 2 years servicing and road tax free, 2 years insurance, £99. Proton Cars. Clearly exceptional value.
The Brits 1991. The cream of pop and dance from the prestigious Brits Awards on one incredible double album. Whitney Houston, In Excess, George Michael, and the #1 hit of the year. From Elton John, plus the very best of the year's dance. From Delight, Janet Jackson, Prince, Nena Cherry and more. The Brits 1991. Fantastic hits from a memorable year. Album and video from Telstar.
Are these on or am I wasting my time?
This lady has bought a record and is expecting a penny change, but she's not going to get it. We'll be back in a minute to see what happens.
Nice.
Yeah.
Penny?
You bothered about the penny?
Just used to it being given.
Would you like
You run out of pennies?
God, never thought about it, really.
Okay, I'll have the penny.
Strange, isn't it, that we'll make a stand over a penny, yet we may waste far more by not having the right bank account. Now, all Midland current accounts can sweep surplus cash straight into a high-interest savings account.
You sure you want the penny?
Yes, thank you.
Well, baby, I'm in the basket your chocolate. Well, baby, I'm in the basket your taste. Well, baby, I'm in the basket your chocolate. In the basket your taste.
We're all off on a bike ride. There we go. We're having spaghetti bolognese made with ragu pasta sauce. You know, it takes over £1.50 of tomatoes to make every jar, and it's made to a 50-year-old Italian family recipe. It certainly brings out the Italian in my lot.
Andiamo sempre. Andiamo, se non facciamo tardi.
Can getting angry be good for you? Could a bulging tummy just be water retention? Know Yourself helps you make up your own mind about your health, body, emotions and relationships. It's an A to Z with charts, checklists and a fact file. Know Yourself is the complete guide to your body and mind.
Just the two of us. Excuse me! Couldn't give me a lift ashore, could you?
Of course.
Climb aboard.
Coffee?
Terrific. Nescafe. No mistaking coffee at its best. Thanks. Look, I'd like to return the favor. Why don't you join me on my boat tomorrow?
Nescafe. Why shouldn't life be this good?
Together, they brought to the world a special gift in a future threatened with destruction. It's time for a new kind of magic.
Arnold Schwarzenegger. This time, he's back for good.
Trust me.
Saturday, danger lurks in the still of the night.
Thing that brings the crazies out?
Yeah, always.
Maybe we could put up some warning posters.
Say what?
So far, the victims have all been women linked to unusual sexual activity.
I met with the wrong kind of people. I think it was a cop. Maybe it was you?
Clint Eastwood stars in Tightrope, Saturday at 9:20.
This is Granada presenting movie premiere. Bruce Willis stars in Die Hard.
Good job. Very mature.
The Cubs. Bowling.
10-pin bowling, or skittles, as my assistant likes to call it. It started when I first joined and sort of grew from there. Well, I'm what's called a pensions advisor. You see, people are a bit wary of pensions, so I sit them down, find out what they actually want, and, more importantly, when they want it. Then I choose the policy I think fits the bill. Well, that's it. What's right for one person's sake might not be right for someone else. A bit like sport, really. I mean, can you imagine me on a squash court?
Stills of Chelsea introduce a wide range of red and white wines in a can, such as Van de Pey, Liebfraumilch, Lambrusco, Cabernet Sauvignon, Soave, Moscato Frizzante.
From Stills of Chelsea, 2 glasses of your favourite wine in a can.
Welcome to a city where a real British breakfast is still served 600,000 times a year. Welcome to Intercity.
Throughout the day, your clothes pick up all sorts of dirt and odors. Some ordinary compact detergents only get out ordinary dirt. Radian gets more out by removing even fatty stains and stubborn odors, giving a deeper, fresher clean. Get more out. Put Radion in.
Come on, you lot. Get into a group.
Hey, Dad, do I look all right?
Like a film star, love.
Yeah, Frankenstein.
You better watch out for those steps. Jeff!
Quiet, the film's rolling.
Looks like Jeremy Beadle needs a cup of PG.
PG picked the youngest, freshest tips of the tea bush, which makes PG the tea you can really taste.
This tea deserves an Oscar.
Dad, is this film gonna be an X?
No, a PG.
They've got the moves and the mouth.
You got that big Z in your fro. What are you, the Black Zorro?
White man can't jump.
Ben, you were almost there.
You'd think they'd complain, when he's wearing that hat, and when they serve tennis silver.
Prove you've checked the back of your knees to taste a bit too.
That's right.
On the deck.
Is someone pulling your Pilsner?
Good evening. This is Mr. Ogden and Mr. Rousell, the original brewers at Castle Eden, and this is their cask-conditioned ale. 12 years ago, we had other plans for the brewery and ordered them to phase out Castle Eden ale. Sorry. As things turned out, they ignored those orders, and Castle Eden is still being brewed to this day. Thank you, lads.
fragrance uprising.
Regarde, la Stella Artois est arrivée.
Your Northwest Rover dealers have special news. Following Rover's price realignment, we can now offer you savings of up to £900 on a new, redesigned, re-engineered Rover Metro. So for real value, come and see your Northwest Rover dealers or call 0800 52 1020.
When Whitbread told us they could put our Castle-Eden ale into cans and make it look and taste hand-pulled, we didn't believe them. Sorry, boys.
Die Hard continues after the news.
Next Wednesday, prepare to be possessed by fear.
I ask one thing. The authority to perform an exorcism on Sonny Montelli.
When a house holds dark secrets, can a family survive the haunting?
If you can hear me, very much time.
Amityville 2, The Possession, next Wednesday at 10:40 on Granada.
Still drinking filtered, Papa?
Of course. I just had Jenkins moaning about your instant. He says it's costing the company too much money.
What did you say?
I told him I'd retired.
Good. He hates me using the same grade of beans in our instant that we use in Kenko ground.
Well, it is only an instant, yes? Oh, no.
With the risk of hail and thunder. Temperatures will reach only 8 or 9 degrees centigrade at best during the afternoon. That's only 48 Fahrenheit. And now the outlook. Well, we are stuck with a general picture of cold and showery weather for several more days, but the showers will become less widespread after tomorrow, allowing more in the way of sunshine. Afternoon temperatures are unlikely to exceed 11 or 12 degrees centigrade. In a moment, Bruce Willis trapped in a building with a gang of ruthless terrorists on his trail. Part 2 of Die Hard.
Bupa now has a health scheme for almost everybody. From only £9 a month, Bupa has a choice of health schemes to suit almost everybody. Doesn't your body deserve it? Phone free now, 0800 600 500.
Betty drinks Carling Black Label.
Carling what?
Carling Black Label. It's brewed in England to 4.1% for fuller flavor. And because it's the #1 selling beer over there,
You ain't gonna find enough back here to spit with. Yep. Ain't no wonder that's their Carling's #1.
I bet you don't get that at university.
You can't beat Einstein on food.
Of course, it's all bongo parties.
Round right.
Ban the whale at university, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I know a thing or two about younger generation.
Mm-hmm.
Well tuned up, me.
You got any bread, Grandad?
Aye, there's a tenner, ma'am.
No, bread, Grandad.
Oh.
When you wear number 7, you get foundation that moisturizes and conditions your skin. Lipstick that stays moist and stays put. Non-drag eyeliner, crease-proof shadow, and fiber-free mascara. All fragrance-free and hypoallergenic. And what's more...
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thunderbirds are go. Thunderbirds are go. Go, Thunderbirds.
Have a break. Have a Kit Kat.
Oh, this is a life.
Just for tours.
Excuse me. Couldn't give me a lift ashore, could you?
Of course.
Climb aboard.
Coffee?
Terrific.
Nescafe. No mistaking coffee at its best. Thanks. Look, I'd like to return the favor. Why don't you join me on my boat tomorrow?
Nescafe. Why shouldn't life be this good?
This Friday, you won't need J.R. Hartley's help to find a comedian.
My self-esteem's recently reached a level where I'm regularly ignored by the automatic doors in supermarkets.
Just look up stand-up.
Questions for you. What's this? You mention you say, oh, it's the police, don't look behind.
Come here, Fred. Yes, sir.
Friday at 11:40. This is Granada.
Now we continue the film Die Hard.
Which natural source of energy can help to generate cleaner electricity? And what bright spark is helping to develop the UK's first commercial wind farm? National power, ahead of current thinking.
At the Ponds Institute, women often ask, is younger looking skin possible? The simple answer is yes. Introducing Performance from Ponds. The triple action moisturizer works naturally with the 3 layers of your skin, helping to protect the surface, replenish, and defend the base layer against UV rays. The results are radiant, and I don't mind seeing them on myself. New Performance Triple Action. No one treats your skin like Ponds.
Soft, smooth, luxurious sensation of pure cream.
Ah, heck, you smell gorgeous. and conditioner in one with almond milk can take even the knotty and tangled and envelop it with such delicate, milky richness that in one simple step, hair becomes smooth, separated, supple, looking full of health. New Timotei Complete Care with almond milk.
Stay calm. Concentrate on the screen. You are about to experience the future. Never before have you had to cope with advanced 3D graphics. 360-degree rotation. 96 levels. 32,000 colors. Even more enemies. The ultimate challenge is waiting.
This little tin is full of 98% pure potatoes. So is this little tin. For mash, get mash.
That man looks really pissed. He's still alive. Only John can drive somebody that crazy.
You work out regularly?
My body's simple.
Lift weight?
Sure do. Keeps me home.
Boy, I sure wish I had your figure. Bet you look forward to a cold filtered Coors.
Oh, I drink orange juice. You got the wrong prescription on this cigarette.
Hey, work out regular? My body's a temple.
Starting Monday, 50 stylish models must be won in the Daily Mail Motor Show game. And if you take your game card to the Motor Show, there are 9 cars to be won there and then. Plus 3 with Saturday's Daily Mail, there's a 68-page full-colour Motor Show magazine with news and reviews on all the latest cars. 50 new cars must be won. See Saturday's Daily Mail and get your free magazine and game card.
The lettuce on the left has been kept in an ordinary fridge for about a week. The lettuce on the right in the 0-degree compartment of our new fridge freezer for the same time. The new 0-degree compartment fridge freezer from Electrolux.
Gillette sensor for a safe and closer shave.
You know you gotta be a little
Only Gillette sensor has spring-mounted twin blades that sense and adjust to every detail of every face. Gillette sensor together with Gillette gel for a shave that is unsurpassed.
Love letters straight from your heart.
Morning, Sam. Morning,
But so near while apart.
Morning, Fred.
I memorize every
Morning, Mr. Thompson. Hi, Mrs. Wilson.
and I kiss the neck.
Wherever they are, be there with a first-class letter.
I was given 10 seconds to say something really interesting. And all I could think of was Swinton Insurance.
Rabbit is a new type of phone.
Yeah. Joey, she's left me again. Go find her.
Okay, Mr. Angelino.
It's inexpensive to use, and inside it works like an ordinary phone. Outside, you can use it wherever you see a rabbit sign.
She ain't here, Mr. A. I've looked all over.
Well, look all over again.
No luck. St. Blonders.
I've got her, Mr. A. And she's okay.
Get her back here now.
I'm over here.
Rabbit, for the well-connected family.
New Cadbury's timeout is a wafer snack with a difference. A layer of Cadbury's flake chocolate. Now, when you take a break, take a timeout. The president is not stable, Dr. Billy. Billy takes timeout.
Next Wednesday, prepare to be possessed by fear.
I ask one thing. The authority to perform an exorcism on Sonny Montella.
When a house holds dark secrets, can a family survive the haunting? Amityville 2, The Possession, next Wednesday at 10:40 on Granada.
What you need now is this Wednesday's night time. We have the Young Riders, another adventure with them, Donahue on Bringing Up Baby, Video View featuring Cape Fear, and Dirk Bogarde in the depths of despair. But nevertheless, we'll have a good time. Stay with us. It's after the news.
Round was old Ma Peggotty's place. 'Twas like taking bread to top of the world. 'Twas a grand ride back row, a new baker had have kettle on, and doorsteps of hot Oldies ready. That's wholemeal Oldies, he'd say. Get it inside you, lad. Does you good, that hill, says he. I've never seen an appetite like it.
Otis, it's as good today as it's always been.
Passionately, imaginatively, truthfully, sociably, unsociably, famously smooth, Chapman.
Get the best of Talking Heads. It's a once-in-a-lifetime purchase.
Thursday evening's program started at 7:30 with Jimmy.
Home again. Doing very well.
At 8, Revenge is in the air at Sun Hill, in the bill.
Stay where you are.
No? You won't give it. Right. We're going to call you then. Clint Eastwood?
At 9, Taggart.
I haven't noticed any great leaps forward in the hut of the mechanic. I thought the case isn't going too well.
If the truth were told, we're at a dead end.
At 10:45, the tension builds between the women of prisoner cell block 8. Followed at 11:40 by Sherlock Holmes and the case of the missing link in science fiction.
I knew it. It's human door. Human. Without a doubt.
Entertainment for this Thursday evening on Granada.
But now, nighttime starts with the headlines from ITN.
The Prime Minister is facing pressure from all sides, including his own backbenchers, over the decision to close down most of the coal industry. The scale and speed of the pit closures has outraged many.